Hey, what's up, guys? Tukey here, back again with another episode of my Carolina Hurricanes franchise mode series right here on NHL 19. In today's episode, we continue to deal with the aftermath, living with the fact that we have missed the playoffs over the past 3 seasons now, as outrageous as that is. Of course, we were very close to having that not be the case. We were within arm's length of the playoffs, and Spencer Knight got hurt, and we missed out by like 2 points. As devastating of a turn of events as I have ever had in any one of my series to be that close to the playoffs. But we did rebound well with a fairly solid draft, thanks in part, of course, to the fact that we had to wheel and deal some picks, and that we did. Although I don't know if you can call 2 trades wheeling and dealing, but of course trading up with that that series of picks, our own, and I think it was Philadelphia's there. Trading up with Colorado to make things happen. Of course, we're not done yet setting up this roster. There's still quite a bit to do. Of course, not only have we had to go after the first failed goal of last year, and we've sent Jimmy Howard a contract offer that I assume he'll sign, but we also have to bring in a veteran top 6 winger, which again we've had to do before when we were trying to get Teuvo Teravainen up and running. That didn't work out too well. There is also the issue of one Whitfield probably becoming a top-line player this year, which means somebody has to go. And of course, people are already calling for Mitch Marner's head. So I don't know what's going to happen. So let's get down to business, damn it, because there is a lot to get to. Let's see what we can do here. Again, as far as goaltending is concerned, it's great to have Walters and Prokhorkin. Not so much, but we have Fritz Meyer. Goaltending, we're pretty much good to go. We'll need to sign a 5th goalie, but we'll wait to sign Walters until next year. So goaltending, we're pretty much good to go. Defensively, Romanov is still an RFA, so we won't have to worry about anything in terms of no trades or anything like that. I will sign him to what he wants, but I mean, as far as him being like the long-term solution as a third pairing defender, probably not, if we're going to be honest. I'm not even going to be able to drop this price by that much, so let's just make it an even 1.5 and take it from there. That was a really weird double click, but sure. Ben Sherratt, Mark Friedman, we're going to drop. Even Robin Salo, we're going to drop. I don't have faith in him developing. Beaulieu, Prapavisis, they're both gone. Dylan Simpson's going to be on the way out. We will be signing Trey Ladd, though. Excuse me. Who was a first-round pick in 2021. Again, not a big fan of medium top 4 as a potential this year, but we'll definitely sign him to his ELC. And that pretty much takes care of the defense. From here, it gets to be a little bit more interesting with guys like Gautier and Geeky as RFAs. Killonen's also an RFA. Kalinin, I guess it would be. He's looking for a dirt cheap contract, so we might as well sign him. Berezowski was a 7th round pick in 2021. Impressive that he's a 67, but no way that we're signing him. We'll just let him go. Left wings. Berard, who, I mean, for a 2nd round pick, 43rd overall, the fact that he's an 80 at 18 years old is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not going to sign him just yet, though, although that shooting category is outrageous, because I want to see what the rest of the roster is going to look like. Zimmer and Philippe both could come back, and Christner is going to be dropped for obvious reasons. That brings us to centers. Luotz-Derainen, Kuokkanen needs to be signed. Jared Stahl is going to probably be released, at least for now. He is listed as a 4th liner. We kept him, of course. In real life, he has a no movement clause, so we stayed loyal to that. Although, depending on how much he wants, I mean, he does want like a minimum contract. He could be a decent 4th liner for us, but the issue is, depending on who else is out there and coming up from the AHL, it's probably not worth having him. And as you can tell, we have a lot of RFAs to deal with. So let's sim forward really quickly, just a day. We'll see what's going on with the offers we already have out, as Jimmy Howard did accept that 2-year extension. Romanov signs, Killinen, Trey Ladd as well. So those are the main contracts I was worried about. And we got those out of the way fairly early. Again, 2 years at 1.3. Now, whether or not he stays beyond next year, I don't know. But at the very least, I lived up to the rules. We signed him as we were supposed to. But again, as far as the defense is concerned, we're good to go. We're just going to be letting all of those guys drop rather than me just hitting the button over and over again. We'll let them drop. It's the forwards that I'm a little bit more concerned about because, again, of role, which I can't see from this screen. And actually, I really do need to be able to take a look at that, but I can't trade players from here either. Oh boy, what a slight pain. Anyway, we'll go back to contract. Screw it. We'll do it your way, EA. We'll do it your way. So as far as the team is concerned, again, right now, we are shaping up to have Dubois, Marner, Svechnikov, although I fully expect someone to take a step forward. We have Teravainen, Whitfield, and Nino. Third line, Mackinnon. Turcotte has a very good chance of jumping up to be a third liner. Peterson has a very good chance of jumping up to be a third liner. Brett Leason's a depth forward as well. I'd hope he'd make it up to a fourth line guy. Theo Rocher is close to getting up there as well. Not to mention we have Berard. So with a lot of these guys, I guess it really depends on what they want. Let's go back to, I already went way past him. Let's go back to Julian Gautier, who I kept in case we made the playoffs. Of course, a former first-round pick. He put up 30 points last year. I mean, I can't complain about his production as a third-line guy. He's obviously never really going to take that step up. As a third-line guy, though, is he what I want? I mean, he is fairly well-rounded. I guess it depends on what he's looking for, because we could go for a cheaper option. Wow, he wants nothing. That is kind of surprising. Man, I don't think we'd get anything offer sheet-wise for him. It's just, I'm going to sign him for now, just in case. Now, I don't like to sign free agents and then deal them in September. Admittedly, though, there's a decent chance of that happening if he re-signs, just because of all of the depth forwards that we have listed. I am going to try to bring back Max Zimmer. And again, he's looking for a dirt cheap contract. We'll actually bump that up a little bit. Morgan Geekie wants a little bit more. Minor league checking forward. If he were to be a fourth liner, that would be fine. Now, he is an RFA. I'm going to drop that down to 1-1, and we'll see if he accepts that. Hopefully he does. Of course, I'm allowed to bump up or drop down the year by 1. Luotsarainen, how did you do last year? 34 points in the AHL, had 18 points in 79 games the year before. I think at the very least I'll try to bring him back on a 1-year deal as well. He's not looking for a major contract. And Matt Philippe, just in case. He would be a UFA, so I'm going to have to sign him to what he's asking for. Kuokkanen, we can drop. I don't think he's going to ever take the step up. He's not a big point getter in the AHL either. He's fairly well-rounded, but we're going to drop him, see if we can make room. Same thing for Jordan Staal. I'd love to keep him, but it's just not going to happen for now. If he's still available by the end of the offseason, I'll be down for it, just because then we would have had a little bit more time to try and fill out the fourth line. Drury and Grew, I absolutely hate low top 6 potential this year, but I'll still look to bring both of them back. Of course, Berezowski and Christner are gone as well. So with that, I think we're good. I wanted to play it a little bit more safe in terms of re-signing some of those RFAs, but, you know, if I end up moving somebody, so be it. Gautier rejected. Geekie signed, Drury, Henman, Grew, Zimmer rejected as well. I'm kind of surprised, admittedly. I don't know if they think they can get better offers elsewhere. We still have $19.5 million in cap space. I mean, we're absolutely golden right now. All the money we'd ever need. Gautier, let's try this again. Instead, I'll give you 1 year at 1.5. And we'll see if that's enough. I still want to bring back Zimmer, potentially, and we'll bump that all the way up to the max 9.5. Jordan Staal will be dropped, Berezowski and Christner will be dropped as well. Please hurry up and accept these offers, because we have free agency to get to, and free agency has been very big for us over the past few years. Zimmer's being a complete tool. I mean, he's only looking for a 2-way contract, yet he's rejecting the max 2-way contract. So, you know what? 1 way, 1 mil. You reject that, hit the bricks. How about that? I will double-check scouting really quickly, though, before I didn't even have to hit over, but that's okay. We're there now. If he walks, so be it. Let me just double check with scouts. Did I forget? Yep, I did indeed forget. Oh, God. Oh, God. And they're all good scouts, too. Oh, no. Oh, it's going to take forever. Oh, no. All right, well, feel free to skip ahead 45 minutes into the video if you want, but I refuse to jump cut this, because if I have to suffer, then damn it, you have to suffer. We'll get through this together, man. Oh, God, trust me, I mentioned this. I've mentioned this all year long. I mentioned this when I got that trip out to Vancouver a month ago. Please, for the love of God, do something about how slow this particular menu is. It is horrific. Absolutely horrific. If you look at like what MLB has or what NBA has in terms of managing staff, that's just unacceptable. Anyway, we move on. Zimmer to the free agent list with you. If you leave, so be it. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Or do. I don't really care what happens with you now because you're not on our team anymore. So goodbye. See you later, pal. As all of our scouts have resigned with us. Beautiful, beautiful. And we will see what the free agency period looks like for us here. Again, it's been a pretty impactful couple of summers over the last few years. This could end up being no different. Nathan Mackinnon is there. Of course, we had the chance to trade for him. We did not. Jonathan Drouin, Kyle Connor, Dylan Larkin, Ryan O'Reilly, and Oscar Klefbom as the top defenseman. There could be room to do some damage. Goaltender Robin Lehner is at the top of that list. Now, we do know that we need ourselves a goalie, at least for depth purposes, as I saw Laurent Brossois there. So the question is, do we have any prospects that are asking for the max 950? We do. Niedermayer and Gisbers. There was a frickin' Tampa prospect. I don't know if his name is Simon, but I feel like it was with that name. We have Joe Niedermayer or Anthony Gisbers. And they're both 19. Niedermayer in the queue had a 907. And Gisbers in the queue had a 907. I mean, technically, I could sign both of them and just hope for the best. So that is not allowed, though, because I'm only allowed to sign one who I think could be top prospect or one really good player. Niedermayer is 6'2", Gisbers 6'3". Let's go for the Gisbers. Let's hope you're better than Niedermayer. Not trusting a Niedermayer to be good, that might backfire. Defenseman. Again, top of the board right now is Oscar Klefbom. In terms of our defensive setup, of course, we have to stay loyal to Morgan Rielly and Dougie Hamilton, but our loyalty has now expired for one Justin Falk. So technically, I would be allowed to sign somebody and then move Falk if I wanted to. Not sure if that's the right move to make, but obviously we have to make up quite a bit of salary space. It is nice to have this much cap space, despite having some pretty damn good players on this team. And still, of course, there are some doubts about Bowen Byram, and the issue is, if we were to sign somebody and then plan on trading Falk, if Byram steps up to a top 4 guy, that means Jake Bean would have to go too. So it's a little bit risky when we have Bowen Byram waiting in the mix. Gorillas in the mix. But between Klefbom, Orloff, Murray, Kemp, I think I'd rather just hold out hope for another defenseman. And we'll see if one does so exist. It'd be pretty nice. Again, the max ELC is up to 950. So do we have any prospects? The answer is yes, we do. We have a couple, actually. So Hovland, at 20 years old. How good are you? Sven Hovland. Put up 17 points in the SHL. That's not too bad. Didn't take too many penalties. Was a third-round pick of the Los Angeles Kings. I should have checked draft pick situations for the goalies. Garrett DeLuca, second-round pick of the Buffalo Sabres. 10 points in Sweden. His former second-round pick, though, is interesting. Franklin Kuiper, undrafted. Put up 9 points in the W. Woof. And Fabian Kessel, 2 points in the SHL, undrafted. I gotta go for DeLuca. former second-round pick. St. Louis is interested. We're going for DeLuca, and I do want to go back to the 2 goaltenders as well. Let's see. I don't think either was drafted. I feel like maybe I did look, and I'm just forgetting already. But between Niedermayer and Gisbus, yeah, they were both undrafted. Okay, that makes sense. Forward-wise, it's a massive risk to go for anybody. Obviously, if we sign Mackinnon, we end up moving on from a forward. But again, if we sign Mackinnon and say, oh, Marner's going, if Whitfield takes a step up, that causes the massive issue of us having to trade either Dubois or Svechnikov. We talked about this when I declined the trade for Mackinnon. It's the same thing for Jonathan Drouin. And it's at the point where right now the uncertainty of who's going to take a step up is really complicating my ability to make a decision here. I mean, Nathan MacKinnon, he's 27 years old, had 72 points last season, a couple of 80-point seasons, a 90-point season as well. Of course, in the past 5 years, I mean, of course, we started in 18-19, he's been pretty damn prolific. Jonathan Drouin, on the other hand, now 28 years old, fresh off of his best season yet. He has slowly but surely gotten better. 33 goals, 92 points for the Habs last year, I would assume. Kyle Connor, again, has had some struggles getting going, but back-to-back 80-point seasons. And Dylan Larkin as well, also there. Ryan O'Reilly, Timo Meier. The problem is I just can't sign anybody right now. I can't. I mean, we have the money to spend, but without knowing what's going to happen with the top 6, it's just not a risk I want to take. It's just not a risk I want to take. Because I got to be honest, I like Dubois and I like Svechnikov. Whether or not I should be that loyal to them, I don't know. I mean, the plan, of course, is to be loyal to Svechnikov. Look at that goddamn contract. Not to mention, I mean, career high 29 goals last year. It looks like he's finally turning the corner. Don't really plan on getting rid of him. And then Dubois, I mean, 69 points last year, but, 82 games, 38 games, 33 points, 69, but he's done really well since he's been here. And he's still on a decent enough contract. So, again, if this wasn't rule heavy, it would be, oh yeah, of course I'm going to sign that guy and then just flip whoever. But I'm trying to avoid being cheap, and knowing what our situation is right now, admittedly, it would be kind of cheap. And it would kind of suck to have to get rid of Dubois or Svechnikov, even though there's no rule against it. It's more of a kind of vague guideline. I'm going to hold off on one of those two. However, Connor, Larkin, O'Reilly, Meier, and Schmaltz are all second-line talents. So we might not be done just yet. Especially if Whitfield were to take a step up to the top-line guy, then we'd be good to go. But I do want to see what prospects might be available here. Mainly fresh out of the draft. And then, of course, we'll just look in general, because there could have been some guys that I scrolled over. But we have Carl Patan, 6th-round pick of the Oilers. Not really an impressive... Well, actually, it's in Liga. 49 points in 58 games is not bad at all. DeBoer, Grayson DeBoer, former first-round pick of the Flames. 99 points in 66 games in the OHL. Not bad at all. Pavel Yaskin, 5th-round pick previously, 44 points in 56 games in Russia. Matthew Fierro, 2nd-round pick of the Panthers, 122 points in 68 games. I'm leaning towards DeBoer or Fierro. Kervinen was a former 2nd-round pick, 22 points in 52 games. Sebastian Mueller, 11 points in Germany, former 2nd-round pick. Boy, a lot of teams really lacking 2nd-round success. Kelly Landry, undrafted, 35 points, nothing too crazy. Marcus Emelin, I mean, we got nothing to go off of. Chubarov, we got nothing to go off of, and then that goes down. I'm going to go for Fierro, I think. And then we'll sim to August 1st like we've been doing. And whoever's left is who we'll try to get in terms of top players. I think. Let me double check. Because again, on the second line, I'm having to bank on Whitfield becoming a top-line talent. And even if he doesn't, I can commit to Whitfield being a top-line guy and say, okay, no matter what, we're trading Mitch Marner. I can absolutely do that. And especially, too, if you look at the forward core, I mean, is there a chance of someone taking a step up to a third-line talent? Maybe. But having Teravainen, Niederreiter, And whoever else, I mean, if we could find a righty for that line, that would be perfect, and for the power play as well. Yeah, especially, too, because we only have one righty in the top 6 as it is right now, and that is Whitfield. If we could find... Actually, Whitfield was a lefty. It's Marner, I should say. I can't sign one of the first-line guys in case Whitfield jumps, but one of these second-line guys would be available, and I wouldn't want to go for any of the bottom offers. So Kyle Connor, again, has multiple 80-point seasons. Dylan Larkin has an 80-point season, was up to 75 points last year. You have Ryan O'Reilly now at 32 years old, turning into more of a 60-point guy at this point. Timo Meier, 60 points last year. I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to wait. I'm going to try to get us a better prospect, and I'm going to wait. And the main reason for that is the amount of depth forwards that we have right now. I still think quite a few of them could jump up and become legitimate third-liners, and that's going to cause quite the traffic jam. So we're going to go for the 3 prospects first and foremost, and we'll move forward. You got to remember, though, if Mitch Marner is likely to be traded here, we have maneuverability. DeLuca signs, Gisper signs, and we got a trade offer for PK Subban that I'm going to reject, and Fierro has also signed. So we are good to move on to August 1st. On that day, any free agents left become fair game as opposed to just either the best forward or prospect in those 3 different positions. As Kyle Connor's off the board, Clefbaum, Larkin goes to Los Angeles, Leonard to Montreal. Any other big names? Hayden Fleury went to New Jersey. Hosang to Pittsburgh, Joel Farabee in Philly. Thomas Tatar to Anaheim. And Ryan Poehling to the New York Rangers. And we will continue onward here. I'll try to keep up with some of the other big signings. Not looking to make a deal. Teams will keep offering me stuff, but we're just going to keep projecting. I'm good with what I have right now. Jesus, DuPont must be amazing if they're offering Alex Pietrangelo, who will be older at this point, but it's still Alex frickin' Pietrangelo. And of course, the issue here too is I still need to get a top 6 vet. Now, you could say Ryan O'Reilly was that, and he would have been, but maybe that's how we use Mitch Marner. So, we shall see. We still have one other thing we have to accomplish thanks to the failed goals from last season. So we are here, August 1st. It is fair game, regardless of who's on the list. Ryan O'Reilly is still there. Now, I think it was a top 6 winger, was the technical definition. But I'll play Ryan O'Reilly on the wing. I'm going to say he's fine. Now, that's not exactly a punishment per se to sign Ryan O'Reilly, but in a way, it kind of is. Because you factor in, well, Whitfield might take a step up, and then if this guy signs and having to play people within the role, it does make it a little bit complicated. Especially if someone steps up, and this might stop me from signing that one dude, that one prospect that we have that looks like a beast until next year. So in a way, it's a bit of a punishment. And I would only be allowed to drop Ryan O'Reilly's term down to 4 years, which would suck. As it is, if we look at forwards, I mean, I could sign Richard Panik and play him out of role. I could sign, well, no, it has to be a top 6 vet. Oh, God, yeah, so it has to be Ryan O'Reilly. 4 years at 32 years old. Oh, God. And with that money total, he's going to be a no-movement clause there. Oh, God. Oh, no. Otherwise, we involve Mitch Marner in the trade. I feel like then I have to use Marner. But O'Reilly's obviously fair game, but that contract is rough. Not to mention, I know Nathan MacKinnon's still there. But goddamn, just that O'Reilly contract, that's going to be rough to stay loyal to, man. 32 to 36 years old, maybe even as old as 37. I mean, we have the money to spend. It's not the biggest deal in the world. We do know how good DuPont is, though. Medium Elite 69. Very, very nice. Mario DuPont, 13th overall selection in 2022. Okay. I actually need to go back to the screen, and we need to see exactly what we're dealing with here. So goaltenders, we know. We have 5 goalies. We're good. That's a relative term because we have Jimmy Howard. but we're good with Fritzmeier, Shevitke, and Gusbus. Defensively, we have a decent top four, a third pairing as well for now. So in terms of depth, we have 3. Again, I'm worried about Hartman's development, but I'm technically not allowed to trade him for like a second-round pick. That wouldn't be allowed. Third-round pick, maybe. Which, is that even worth it? Probably. But we'll explore that option later. Honestly, if I trade Warren and Hartman for like a third and a fourth, just to get something for their value, because I don't think they're going to make it, I'll probably do it. And of course, I'm not allowed to trade guys like Petit or Zigomanis if I know they're going to be terrible. I'm going to move on from Hartman and Warren. Again, Hartman, we'll say a third, Warren for a fourth. So let's see if there's a team that's interested in the two of them. A lot of teams aren't interested in Hartman. That's a damn shame. Chicago's interested in Warren, though. That'll bring them up to 50 contracts, I think. Columbus would work. And hey, if this doesn't work, boy, will it come back to haunt me. Okay. Instead of doing 2 separate trades, I was going to trade Warren for a fourth and Hartman for a third. So I'm going to say this is allowed. There we go. And I'm sorry, Morgan Geeky. I'm apparently doing nothing but pissing you off. How dare I? So right now, as it is, we'd only be looking at defensive depth for the most part. So we're in a pretty good spot. I mean, technically, we need a depth NHL defenseman. And then we only have 3 AHLD signed. So we have some work to do there. Forward-wise, again, is where it gets complicated. Let's say Mitch Marner is leaving. So we'll have Dubois, Svechnikov, Whitfield, Teravainen, Niedermayer, and it's got to be Ryan O'Reilly. It has to be, unless we pull off a trade, but I think it's got to be O'Reilly. And then from there, who the hell knows? That is the only correct answer. We have a lot of forwards signed. I know that much. We have 40 contracts as it is. So this is going to be interesting. It's either, again, we trade Marner. And I mean, technically, if I wanted to, I could throw an offer out there for Mackinnon. He only wants 1 year. Sign Mackinnon, trade Dubois, sign O'Reilly, trade Marner. That might not be the worst idea. And then again, defensively, there's really not a whole hell of a lot we can do. Jesus Christ, Ryan Murray, you must be a morale case. You must be. But again, I can sign defensemen later. That's not an issue. Do we want to rely on having to trade Mitch Marner for something specifically? Or do I just try to sign these two and at least have the freedom to do whatever the hell I want? Technically, I could sign Colin Wilson and play him in the top 6. That sounds like a nightmare. Just saying. Oh boy, the good thing is O'Reilly's not looking for that much. And having a defensive specialist in the top 6, it could be worse. He was coming off a $7.5 million contract. If we drop O'Reilly, 5.2 over 4 years, technically that puts him in a no trade. No movement. No movement's 5.0. Damn it. So yeah, 5.0 is a no trade. And then I had 5.25 listed as no movement clause, just because I was thinking it went up to like 5.025. It's like that's technically where it starts. So 4 years of Ryan O'Reilly or hinder my ability to trade Mitch Marner freely. 4 years of Ryan O'Reilly. Let's do it. And then Nathan MacKinnon. One year, $10 million. Let's see what happens. We have the freedom to do it. Let's see what the hell happens. Are we going to be getting just a little bit crazy with the trades? Let us find out. Nathan MacKinnon is a Carolina Hurricane. Ryan O'Reilly has gone to Detroit. So Nathan MacKinnon is here. I have to stay loyal to him for the year. Obviously, he won't be dealt. You'll have the full no movement clause for this year. We don't even have to spin the wheel. Well, I mean, technically we could spin the wheel. But the rule for no movement is to stay loyal for half the contract. Nathan MacKinnon's staying for the year. Who are we going to trade him for, or who are we now going to trade Mitch Marner for? I have no idea. And Dubois might be going as well. I'm going to hold off on signing anybody else until we get to training camp. And then that way we can see what the full scope of the situation is with player progression, who we have to trade, and at the very least, again, we know that we need to bring in a top 6 player. I'm actually kind of shocked that O'Reilly rejected that deal, and again, it kind of complicates things, but so be it. Instead of getting Ryan O'Reilly again, now we'll have the freedom to bring in a veteran of our choosing on a much, much more team-friendly contract. But Nathan MacKinnon has been signed, as ridiculous as that is. And we know Mitch Marner's on the way out, which we have the freedom to do because he was an RFA. So we're looking good on that front. But we get to the start of the season, and what kind of player development are we going to be looking at here? Let's find out. This should be interesting. Whitfield did not step up. That's the first interesting note. Spencer Knight is now elite. Howard's listed as a medium starter, but again, we can play him as a backup. Defensively, we have Riley, Hamilton, Bowen Byram stepped up, which means either Jake Bean, Justin Falk are gone. Romanoff's still top 6, so we'll have to bring in a third pairing defenseman. And I mean, Jake Bean, 3 years at 3.5, 5 years, or 3 years at $5 million for Justin Falk, even though we now have the right to get rid of him. He put up 43 points last year, but he is 31 years old. Jake Bean put up 37 points last year. I think Justin Falk's got to go, as crazy as that is. And we'll look to find a third pairing defenseman. For the moment, let's just get Luke Mittelstadt on the roster. But I think Justin Falk has to go. Or we capitalize on Bowen Byram's trade value, because this is the last year of his ELC and his value will never be higher. It's something that we were considering last year. Mitch Marner's going. We know this. We decide, I mean, technically, okay. Okay. Marner or Dubois? Genuine question. Dubois is 25. He's not going to get any better. But he's been pretty good. He's been pretty damn good for us. And had he had a higher shooting percentage last year, it would have been ridiculous. Mitch Marner, 62 points in 75 games isn't bad, but it's not the over point a game pace you would want. But the only thing I can think of right now is Svechnikov, MacKinnon, Marner as our top line. The second line stays the same. That's not an issue. It's Teravainen, Whitfield, Niederreiter. And then, as expected, someone like Alex Turcotte has made it to the third line. It's either Marner or Dubois who gets dealt. But if anything, it has to be both. Because we still need that top 6 winger. Which means Whitfield is stepping up to the top line. And that second line winger will step in. In fairness, it was just top 6 vet, which I consider to be like over 30. So those two are going to go. We need to bring in somebody else for the top 6. That's decided. Let me call up just like Guru and Drury, just to have 2 other people on the roster we can look at here. Allenen's now a 4th liner. Actually, I think he was last year. Third line, Turcotte, Mackinnon, and Gautier. So a skill guy with 2 not so much of a skill guy. Although Turcotte is listed as a 2-way. From there, it's a little bit shaky. Just a bit. We don't have enough. We need one more legitimate 4th liner. We have Theo Roche, Allen. I need one more true 4th line guy, or we can play the likes of Peterson or Leeson in that role. Maybe that's where Jordan Stahl comes back into play. Could be. Let me call up just Sylvester and Fierro, since we know for a fact we're going to be sending those 2 back down. So the top 6, I mean, again, we need that one addition. We need an addition to the 4th line. We need a change on defense. I'm not sure who that's going to be. But we have 2 heavy hitters that are going to be leaving this team offensively. The first question is whether or not there is a team with a half-decent veteran winger that they are looking to trade. Someone who will not necessarily be out of place. How much 2 years left. Otherwise, Panarin would have been perfect. Damn it. If there weren't 2 years left on Artemi Panarin's deal, he would have been the perfect fit. He really would have been. If I could get him on half salary, though. He only put up 41 points last year. If the Bruins are willing to retain salary on Artemi Panarin, I'd be willing to do that. Let's see if there's anybody else. But I am not against, and then there's Jeff Skinner. Same deal. Panarin and Skinner, both available. One more year than I prefer. Skinner's been better. Skinner's been able to keep that up. He is a first liner, though. That can't happen. Well, actually, no. Technically, it can happen because Whitfield. And then I don't have to stay loyal to Skinner because I didn't sign him to the deal. Bringing in Jeff Skinner to play on the top line rather than Whitfield, that's not a terrible idea. I think Jeff Skinner might be coming back. Either that, or I trust Brandon Peary. Which, who's to say, man? Who's to say? I've tested out Brandon Peary as a top 6 option. It's not the worst. But bringing in Jeff Skinner, especially if we could get him on a half salary deal, would be tremendous. Actually, you know what? I need to go back up towards Buffalo here. Because I need to be paying attention to other players like Elias Lindholm that are listed. Although, obviously, I'm more intrigued in high-end prospects. Let me check Yablonski. 4th round? Absolutely not. Because, of course, we're only allowed to trade for 1 draft pick at a time. So trying to just trade for, like, 1 first, that's going to be complicated. And for the top 6 options here, we have Okposo, Pacioretty, Backlund, and Riley Smith. Connor Sherry as well, and Danault. Wow, Dallas actually has a lot of options. I'm kind of surprised. None of them are great. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to play Riley Smith or Philip Danault as a top option. You know, I think I'd prefer to go for Jeff Skinner still. Dadonov, we have quite a few. Yarncrook. Dadonov has 6 years left. Okay, we're now ignoring that option by far. Edmonton. And again, this is just scouting out options. We don't know if the teams are even going to be able to take these players. So we're in a rough spot. Trevor Wong is available there from Edmonton. Okay, so from Buffalo, at the very least, we know we have Skinner. Edmonton has prospects. We'll keep that in mind. The Florida Panthers did end up signing Jordan Staal. They have Coleman, Connolly, Matt Duchene, who has 2 years left. I think I'd prefer to hold off and still go for Jeff Skinner. Because, again, they have to play in the top 6. I think Jeff Skinner's coming back to Carolina. As crazy as that is. Minnesota with Eriksson. He was a 7th-round pick. Absolutely not. Montreal. Where were these guys drafted? Nowhere where I'm looking to trade for them. Nashville. Again, do you have high-end prospects? Yes, you do. Okay. So Nashville has 2 former first-round picks, Reese Ray and Tristan Smith, who was a 7th overall pick. So Nashville should give us some good bang for the buck right there. Brett Jenks, yeah, nothing really there. Johnny Tychonic. I mean, Josh Bailey, 58 points, listed as a 3rd liner. You got Craig Smith as well. I really like the Jeff Skinner option. The fact that he's still a 1st liner. I mean, you know, we take him back for the year, but we could get him on a good deal and then flip him next year if Whitfield steps up. You got Joe Pavelski, Mika Zibanejad. I still like this main plan here. I think we're looking good. Henri Nikkanen. Vahalati's still available from the Flyers, but again, not a big fan of that potential. But we'll mark down Philadelphia, as a team that works. Pittsburgh, please tell me you have some high-end prospects. The more options, the better. You have Antoine Gagne. All right, so Pitt also works for prospects. San Jose, no thank you. Panik, Brayden Schenn. It's not too bad, but just for how low Jeff Skinner's value is because they want to trade him, how could we not? Tampa, also good for prospects. I think we know what top 6 guy we're getting. I think that's been decided. Toronto's also good for prospects, too. We have more options than I would have thought in terms of teams looking to ship former first-rounders. It's not bad. Not as great there for Washington and Winnipeg as Poulin, but only one option. Buffalo, let's talk. Now, this scares me. However, I don't think I'm going to have to give up Dubois or Mitch Marner to get Jeff Skinner, even on 50%. I don't think that's something that's going to happen. Now, there's no guarantees that I'll be able to get him on 50%, but I think we'll still have the assets that I'm looking to move to make this happen. I mean, again, if I wanted to move Bowen Byram, I could do it. I have my doubts over just how good he becomes. But the smart move for now, because we don't know how good he is, would be to move Justin Falk. Falk's still a good defenseman, and I don't like trading within the division by any stretch of the imagination, or the conference even. But that would be a pretty damn good deal for us. I mean, hell, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, we already have New Jersey's first-round pick and Anaheim's second. We should be able to make this happen. If I deal you Justin Falk, do you need a defenseman? That's the first question that I really should have answered earlier. They absolutely need another top 4 defenseman. It's a perfect fit. I'm going to safety net this with a second. Let's see how this looks. Rejected. That's okay. And they didn't reject because of the salary retention just yet. Falk for Skinner and a third. Damn it. All right, the draft pick might be too much. Falk for Skinner and a 6th. Falk for Skinner straight up. Okay. What else could we add to this? What about the Columbus? Actually, what about our third? Because I'd like to think we're going to be a playoff team. Still no. What about our second round pick? It's a risk, but I'm willing to do it. Still no. Was Skinner's trade value accurate? Kinda, sort of. It just has to be the retention. I have the money to pull this off. I knew it would make the contract easier to trade next year. What if we go Skinner in a second for Justin Falk? Still rejected. Okay, so that trade value just flat out isn't accurate. That sucks. Please tell me we're at least close to making this go through. All right, so that trade value for Jeff Skinner wasn't accurate. So there were other options out there, but that still absolutely sucks. I mean, so right now, we're probably looking at a Brandon Peary, at a Brayden Schenn. How good's Brayden Schenn been these past few years? 41 points. He's a second liner. I could move Tavo back to the wing. So, I mean, Schenn. Who else was even really there? I mean, Pavelski has 2 years left, so absolutely not. Josh Bailey, but that's, again, a direct trade within the division. The Devils didn't have anybody. Nashville doesn't have anybody. Nobody in Montreal. Nobody there. Nobody there. Florida. I mean, it's just... That just ruined my whole plans by that not being 100% accurate. I feel like I got baited on that one. Alex Chason, it worked for Edmonton, or did it? Pacioretty, I mean, it would be Backlund or Riley Smith. Philip Deneau. Oh, God. Failing this challenge from the last season absolutely sucks. If I were to legitimately get Brandon Peary and put him on the top 6, Calgary doesn't need goaltending. Defense. They might need goaltending. They always need goaltending. We have, outside of Mike Vernon and Mika Kiprusoff, just to clarify, we are so screwed. We are so screwed. Sam Gagner might be my best bet. He had 38 points last year. Do the Vegas Golden Knights need defense? They do, but don't. They're already paying. Yeah, I can't justify that. That would screw them over cap-wise. Even though they have $12 million available, it would still screw them over cap-wise. They need more forward help. We are so boned. I think Jaden Schwartz, if I can justify trading them some defense, which I can. I think Jaden Schwartz or Brayden Schenn just became the correct answer. Not the trade I was planning on making, but we pick up Brayden Schenn for the year. We move Justin Falk to the West. Seems like a win-win, even though the Blues don't want to move picks, but I'll see if I can get a second. So Justin Falk for Brayden Schenn and a second. Doesn't go through. We'll try the third next year from the looks of it. Will that go through? Yes, it will. So there you go. The goal from the last year comes to fruition. We missed out on the playoffs, so we had to acquire a top 6 vet. We did just that. We give up Justin Falk rather than trading Bowen Byram. And we get back Brayden Schenn in return, who will be on the second line this year. That is hardly the biggest trade that we're going to be making, but it is the most recent. I think as far as Marner and Dubois are concerned, we're going to look to make deals with Edmonton, hopefully, and Nashville, who both had prospects available. Can we justify trading a top liner to the Oilers? Not really. With the money that they're handing out to all those guys, not really. What about Nashville? I'm going to say yes, because Marner's on a 1-year deal, and then they can do whatever. But ideally, that still doesn't work. Philly needs help. Fuck. We're going to have to trade these two within the East. So Philly, Pittsburgh is out. Tampa is in. But of course, their cap situation, their cap trouble's freaking legendary. And Toronto is a no. Right now, my best bet in terms of value is Tampa and Philadelphia, which helps me not a bit. All right. So again, the top 6 moving forward is shaping up to be Mackinnon, Svechnikov, Whitfield, Schenn, Niederreiter, Teravainen. I will try to deal Pierre-Luc Dubois to Tampa since he is technically out of the division and would be put into the Atlantic. Do they have a third pairing defenseman that they are overpaying that we could pick up and have fill the role? Dominic Machine. Unfortunately, he has 2 years left, so that completely sucks and doesn't help. Do you have a fourth liner? Hunter Shinkaruk. I will try to take back Hunter Shinkaruk in this deal. But they are still $4 million over. I am going to miss out on so much value for these two. God damn it. Defensively, what if... Oh, man, I have to take back Machine. The machine. I have to take him back. Yep, that would do it. Shinkarik machine. I mean, we'll look for the pick. And then hopefully there's a prospect. Oh, you better pray to God there's a prospect. Oh, this is looking so bad. Oh my God, is this looking bad? Who do you have for prospects? Quite a few on defense. Let's see, you have Sulzer, who was a second-round pick. Tyler Clevin, who was real. Owen Power, who's real. That's right, they did have some... That's right, they had some that they wanted to trade, though. Quite a few of them. Roger Gilbert. Or probably Gilbert, but we'll call him Gilbert. 27th overall pick. Owen Power was 18th. Clevin, 24th. I think we aim for Power and Gilbert, right? So we get Hunter Shinkarik and Dominic Machine for the roster. A first-round pick. And we get back Owen Power and Gilbert/Gilbert. Just low. Wow, I honestly thought that was going to go through outright. All right, well, let's throw the old 5th-round pick in there. Is that enough? What is just a bit? What is it? A study, a lesson. 4th rounder. I hate everything. I hate it all. 4th and a 5th. Pierre-Luc Dubois apparently doesn't want to go anywhere because this game is so frustrating. Dubois in a 3rd for a 1st, Power, Gilbert, Shinkarik, a machine. I am going to stab a clown. Are you kidding me? Are you... I don't give a fuck about your salary. I don't care. You are taking this deal. Take it. Take the deal. Take it. Take it right now. I don't even want the 1st anymore. I'll take a 2nd. Take the deal. Take the deal. What contracts do you even have coming up right now? Which ones? Tell me. I implore you. Tell me. Sergachev. Foot. Oh no. Oh my. We're going to lose Foot. Stamkos. Okay, that's a pretty big contract. Well, maybe don't hand fucking Taylor Radish $3 million, you idiots. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I don't want to retain salary to make this happen, do I? What if I retain just a little bit, Tampa? Will that make you happy? What if I retain just $500K? What do you think? I will kick your ass. Your fictional virtual ass. What do you say now? How about $1 million? $1 million. I will find a way. What about 1.5? I am going to lose it. What about 2 million? Is that the right way to go about this? I don't know, and that might come back to haunt me, but I could not be asked trying to find a better trade. Pierre-Luc Dubois dealt to Tampa for picks, shit players, and hopefully 2 good prospects. Time will tell. Deal 1 of the major players is in the books. No disrespect to Justin Falk. And that, of course, sets us up very well for draft picks heading into next year. Mitch Marner, you are next, sir. You're going to Philadelphia because I hate you. However, this cannot happen unless I take back a god-awful contract, which apparently would be Michael Ferland's contract. But he's a 3rd liner, so that doesn't help me. Oh, God. Here's the thing. I can retain salary on Marner if I have to. That's fine. But please tell me, with, Lindblom here, and even Nick Hjalmarsson, that there are contracts I can take back. And the good thing is, there is. So we're going to be taking Lindblom. We're going to be taking Hjalmarsson, because I really have no choice. We're going to be taking Nick Foligno. Jovicevic is interesting. He's a Winnipeg prospect in real life. Already 27, though. I guess I'd rather have Hjalmarsson for the memes and the veteran presence. And we'll also take Weidman, because he's on a one-way deal. Yeah, it would probably be too much. I don't want Weidman. If I retain half of Marner's salary, or close to it, where are we? Because as it is, we have all the salary space in the world. So for Mitch Marner's contract, it's not that damaging to retain. It would be more damaging to retain. I'm actually going to take Foligno out of that deal. Actually, in fairness, let me just do that really quickly. I guess I should take back somebody. But point being, we should be okay. The issue here, though, is that they only really had Vahalati, which is why they were one of my least favorites. So Vahalati in a first. There has to be somebody else that I can add to this who's half decent. There has to be. Let's check for former high-end picks. Vahalati, who we already have. Oh, God. And Tulipov, who is an other at 21, which is not a good sign. Trevor Zegras is a third liner. That could cause trouble. But we have no other real way to try and maximize value here other than to add Zegras. Try to hope Tulipov and Vahalati are half decent. And was there a second round pick who was okay? A former second round pick, not an actual second round pick? Oh, God. Sim was a third. I thought that there was a former second round pick here. Please tell me that there was. Is it Grigor? He was a third. Kozlov. I just have to hope. I might be dealing Mitch Marner for absolutely nothing. There's a decent chance of that. I might have to add Hjalmarsson back in. And probably will. Vahalati, Tulipov, Zegras, Kozlov, and a first. We have no other options via the rules. That actually didn't go through. That's shocking. What if I take out Kozlov? Still didn't. Which means Zegras and Tulipov could have half-decent potentials. What if I just take out Tulipov? Zegras, Vahalati, and a first for Marner. That would go through. Okay, so it's Tulipov that's causing the issues. But that interests me. Is maybe, just maybe. This is going to be another really long episode, by the way. Didn't plan on that being the case, but here we are. What if I add in our third? Because technically, I could remove their first, because we'd really be limiting ourselves to the amount of picks we have anyway. Okay, I'm actually going to remove that first round pick. And we're going to go for their second instead. Because I think I want Tulipov. With how high his value seems to be. Just low, huh? So what if I add in... I mean, that kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? That would kind of defeat the purpose a little bit. What if we add in even a fifth? Zegras, Tulipov, Vahalati, and a fifth for Mitch Marner. Let's do it. Marner goes to Philadelphia. And we are one step closer to having this roster set up and established the way we wanted. So our third pairing this year is going to be Mackinnon and Romanov. I have no idea who the depth defenseman is going to be. We'll sign whoever. And, yeah, so technically I need an NHL depth defenseman and 2 AHL defensemen to help fill out this roster. And then forward-wise, we already know it's going to be Mackinnon, Svechnikov, and Whitfield, Teravainen, Niedermayer, Schenn, Turcotte, Mackinnon, Gautier is likely to change because we have Shinkaruk, Rocher, and Allen. So Sylvester goes down. We're going to have to make a change on that third line. And it's probably going to be Gautier that gets dropped for obvious reasons. And that looks like we're pretty much good to go. So in terms of forwards, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So yeah, we're good on forwards. So I just need to move Julian Gautier and pick up some depth defensemen, and our roster is set. We're at 46 contracts. Let's see what we can move Gautier for. Again, I said there was a chance that we'd have to move him, and that is indeed the case. Is there a team that's interested that can take him? Pittsburgh might work. Do you need a third line forward? I know you have prospects. I just realized I didn't even have to scroll there, did I? What the hell? Am I losing it? There we go, player roll. Yeah, you don't need him. San Jose, you didn't really have any good prospects. Tampa, do you need a third liner? Nope. Toronto, do you need a third liner? Nope. Anybody else who had actually good prospects? Edmonton? Nope. What about Nashville? Hey, Nashville. Nashville. The Schvill. Let's talk. So, you have Smith and Reese Ray that I'm interested in. There is no way that's going to go through. We all know that. But. I gotta admit I'm tempted to give up Walters because Spencer Knight's going nowhere. Do they need a goalie prospect? Oh yeah, they do. I could give up Walters here to get... Granted, I don't know how good these picks are. But I am all in on the Spencer Knight train. So Walters and Gautier, we get Ray and Smith. So you give up some prospects. Now the first might be a bit too much, but damn it, fair value. You give up 2 prospects, but you do get that goaltender that you need. And you get a serviceable player in Julian Gautier. I think that's fair. And so did they. And apparently they really think they won out because they ended up with Walters. Time will tell as I get 2 forwards where I have no idea how good they are. But damn it, risk it, biscuits. You know the sayings. So let's go ahead and get who we need here. Which again, I think I'm going to keep all these guys there. It's 10, 11, 12. You know, I probably should call up one of these random forwards. I'm not sure who. Between Peterson, Leeson, Robertson, and Philippe. It'll probably be Philippe. I think he's the oldest. Yeah, he's 25. So we'll have Philippe be our healthy scratch at the NHL level. That team is set. And then the AHL team has 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, so they have way too many people as it is. So we need to sign like 3 more defensemen off the free agent list. And then, damn it, we're good to go. We are currently listed as champions. We'll see whether or not that holds true. So for the defense, we go to player role. And technically, we're going to have a guy as our depth defenseman who really shouldn't even be there. Kislevich, Heed, Ryan, Semick, Luke Schenn, Sheelington. That's a tough one. Matt Spencer, channel legend Matt Spencer. Rebuilding Hockey Town. For those who do not know and never watched that series back in the day, check it out. It's still okay. I'll sign Brett Lernout. I don't know why. I kind of like Brett Lernout, even though he's a filthy, filthy hab. And let's go for Myers just to appease the Flyers fans that may be watching. There's a lot of you, regrettably. Seeing the dark side of being a Flyers fan. Woof. Must be rough. So we will sit into the regular season. Hopefully we have the contract spots we needed. And we did. We are up to 50. So let's get a look, shall we? Machine gets hurt in preseason. That's great. Let's get a look at what this roster is shaping up to be? Let's go with... Because I want my prospects all to start. Let's go with Spencer and Myers. And in that way, I only have to take Lernout out of the lineup. So we're looking good there. And then forwards, of course, we know that we're set. So let's see. This roster's changed quite a bit again, as you would expect, but all within the confines of the rules. Top line, Svechnikov, Mackinnon, and Whitfield. Second line, we'll probably see Brayden Schenn at center with Teravainen and Niedermayer on the wings. Of course, that can change. Maybe Nino goes up to the top line at some point. Third line is not going to be that. Matt Philippe needs to take a seat for... Nobody? Excuse me? Theo Rocher. There we go. I guess I just missed him. It'll be Rocher, Shinkaruk, and Allen on the fourth line. These two are both listed as centers. I'm going to trust that Theo's a little bit better. And then that third line's going to have a little bit more skill than I would have thought. But Mackinnon, Zegras, and Turcotte. So that'll be an interesting one. Two guys from the same draft. Then defensively, it's Riley Hamilton, Byram and Bean, Machine, and Romanoff. A lot of lefties. A lot of lefties. And of course, Spencer Knight, the man leading the way. I'll be very intrigued to see what the actual overalls and potentials are of everybody on this team, because that could drastically change. It'll be Fritz Meyer and Shudicki between the pipes. Down in the AHL defensively, again, Lernout has to take a seat for DeLuca. And Robertson's not supposed to be in. Am I missing? Oh, we must have a guy down in the AHL. Okay. Well then. Lernout, guess what? You get to replace Robertson at least. You got that going for you. Technically, I can send down another guy. But Ladd, Vahalati, Power, and Middlestat. DeLuca as well. Very intrigued to see how good he is after we sign him as a free agent. And then for the forwards, we're looking pretty much good to go outside of this dude, who is actually ours. We do have a couple of scratches. Tulipov on the second line by default. We'll have to see how good Sylvester, Drury, Fierro, and Shoki is the guy that we don't have to worry about. All in all, I'm optimistic as I typically am. But I'm always optimistic at the beginning of a season. We will hope that this optimism carries through for the next episode. Time will tell. Now is the time, much later than I planned, but damn it, that's just how this offseason went. Now is the time where I hand it off to you. What are the goals for the season? A goal and punishment for the team. A goal and punishment for one player specifically. Let me know down in the comments. The most thumbs up comment or comments will be the ones that we follow for this next year. Will we be able to Will we be able to Will we be able to break the playoff drought behind Brayden Schenn and some dude named Nathan Mackinnon leading the way? Time will tell. Not the St. Louis Blues center that I wanted, Brayden, but you know what? You might be able to get it done. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Drop a like on the video because I said so, and you have to listen to YouTubers. That's just how it works. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.